Today's motto is better to get it done than to wait for it to be perfect. So I had hoped to film earlier this week and get all cute for you guys and look freshly showered with makeup on, and that has just not been the case. We have had a very, very busy week with our kitchen remodeling and just some updates with that. So I'm gonna film this quickly today in between running from the gym with my kids, and they're down for a nap. And so please excuse the makeup-less face and just in between errands kind of look. So we decided to go a completely different direction with our kitchen remodel. We started thinking that if we were going to be redoing this, we wanted to do it right. We didn't want to have regrets. We didn't want to backpedal or have to fix mistakes later. So we had tried a previous plan. I had put it on a video on here of doing an island or a peninsula in the kitchen. But I just knew in my heart that wasn't right. I really, really wanted an island, and I tried every which way to make it happen. And I was able to do that by putting our island out a little bit further into a big opening we have to our living room. And I started thinking about that design and thinking what needed to move around. And when I tell you, they don't show on these before and after amazing like remodeling videos and shows the chaos and the stress that it puts your home in the in-between. My husband and I, we feel like we have just not had a moment's peace since January 1st when the flooding of our dishwasher happened, and where we've, embarked on this new kitchen remodel that wasn't our choosing, but we're here now. So all of that to say, just don't get discouraged if you're trying any new project on your own or remodeling and it just isn't going the way you think or you expect. And just know you're not alone. It is very, very stressful. In fact, the other day, I had to have a long prayer time with the Lord where I was just on my knees crying out about every single thing that's causing me anxiety about this project. From working with contractors who we've had some issues with, to financial costs of it, to, God, what if I make a mistake here? What if this plan doesn't work out? What if? And I just was pouring out every single one to God, and He cares and He listens, and He actually restored a type of peace in my soul of just knowing that, no, I'm not in control of what happens from here forward, but it's gonna be okay. Someday we're gonna pass away and someone else will inherit the walls of this house, and somebody else maybe can find joy in it, but this is a temporary dwelling for me on this earth, and I just have to keep coming back to that. And I hold that in tandem with the idea that I want to design a kitchen that's still beautiful and enjoyable for me and my family for years to come. And I also want to be a good steward of God's resources and His, our money is His money and all the things. So I digress. We have changed plans. I'm going to put some images here and talk through them about the new plan. So first you need to see that I just really, 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 when we moved in, I wanted to take out the wall between the kitchen and the dining room. I've always wanted to do it. A year ago, I had contractors looking at that wall, checking that it wasn't load bearing. And my reasoning is that I have never used our formal dining room. It feels too separate. We eat in the main kitchen, and anytime we host, it's kind of like a useless room. Nobody wants to go in there. It's just so separate from everything. And so I've always envisioned that if we could take out that wall, that it would be just this huge open space in our kitchen where we could have kind of a breakfast nook in what was the dining room, and we could have our formal kitchen table that we eat at all the time on the other end of the kitchen, and an island in between where I could feed the kids like lunches and breakfast and just have them watch me bake. That's the fantasy here. So the other night we decided to officially take out the wall. I just knew that this is the time. This is the time to do it. And it was completely nerve-wracking and scary. And once you start ripping out walls, there's no going back. So I've, shown you guys some footage of that. And I'll be honest, it has left our house in complete and utter chaos. There is drywall debris everywhere and dust and dirt. And at the same time that we decided to rip out the wall, we have also decided to redo our hardwood flooring. So we had hardwood in the dining room that we're now combining with the kitchen, and we had hardwood in the foyer area. We did not have hardwood in our living room and our current kitchen. It was a cheap kind of LVP in the living room, and the kitchen flooring, whatever it was what the previous owners had put here, some kind of click and lock floor that was just really cheap. In fact, I think we looked it up. I think they had got it from Sam's Club like 20 years ago. So both of those had to go, and we just decided now is the time. If ever we're gonna put hardwood through the whole house, this is the time to do it, because everything's already a mess and a wreck, and we've already had to move a lot of furniture because of the flooding. So we contacted a hardwood restorer, and they said they can lace in new hardwood with our old hardwood, basically to make the dining room and kitchen look like it was always one big room, which is amazing. And then the foyer and living room will have hardwood throughout. And so in a few weeks, we'll be vacating while they refinish all of that and get all the floors squared away. My hope is to do a really light natural wood color. I lived with really dark floors in my old house, and they show all kinds of dirt. They're the worst. So I love light flooring. I love kind of the coastal, almost like a beachy wood type of look. So, I'll put some pictures up of that type of wood stain. Sometimes you can even get away with no stain, but just the top coat. So anyways, we're gonna work with our hardwood flooring person on what to do there. And that is, I think, the thing I'm most excited about, to have just beautiful continuous floors throughout the whole house. I can just picture it in my head. And as hard as it is right now to be walking on subfloor in the living room, we've got plastic down, but you can feel every little bump. My husband's gone through and tried to make sure there's no nails, nothing sticking out that's dangerous, but it's not fun, guys. It's not fun. So I can just visualize that we're gonna get there someday. We'll be looking back and we'll be so grateful we did this, but I just wanted to record at this moment in time that it's just not easy getting there. So hardwood is the plan, and then we're going to have one long kitchen now with a breakfast nook in what was the dining room. And then the design that we've come up with, and I'll show you some pictures here. I actually went to my local Lowe's and I just sat down with a kitchen designer there. And whether you end up using them for cabinetry or not, because we're actually going with someone else, their designers are always willing to, work with you. So they gave me a really good idea to move my stove all the way to the far end of my kitchen, and we're moving our fridge out into kind of the new area where the wall's been busted down, and the sink's staying the same. So we're gonna have just kind of a new setup that works and flows really well for our family. This was not just a one-time, we figured this out super easy. I can't tell you guys how many times I've had my husband mock up and draw this kitchen. And we even went online to IKEA.com. They have software where you can design and plug in a kitchen and walk through the space. So we've done that. You just really have to think about all the little details. Like when you take dishes out of the dishwasher, where are you going to be putting them? When you feed your children, like where are you pulling from the fridge and the pantry? And when you're by the stove, where's your pots and pans and your utensils going to go? And how often do you use this cabinet space, or how often do you access these things in your kitchen? There's just so many details to think about. So I'm pretty happy with our current design. We just maybe need to tweak a few little things, but pretty much this is going to be our new kitchen layout. We have to get floors done, and cabinets and counters is kind of the next big thing. So that's where we're headed. Deep sigh of relief. I just wanted to give you all an update. We've done a lot of kind of demoing and preparation this week. Now we're going to be calling in plumbers, electricians, drywall people to just get all the bare bones ready for the cabinets and floors. So I so appreciate you guys, and I really appreciate you tuning in, and I'm grateful for you all. Thank you for taking the time to listen to how our kitchen renovation's going. You may not have anything like that going on in your life right now, but you might have something else difficult. And if there's anything I can leave you with today, can you just not be afraid to lift it up to the Lord in prayer? I think we so often think we have to carry these heavy, heavy burdens of everything, and it just piles on our back like rocks that we carry around with us through the day. And as every new stress was added, since January 1st, since the flooding, since all the decisions and the stress and just overwhelming burdens of this project were before us, it was like I was carrying around a weight every day. And there was no relief until I took it to the Lord in prayer. No contractor or phone call or conversation helped lift that burden off of me until I took it to the Lord in prayer. So that's my takeaway from this. Wherever you're at in your stressors, your anxiety, your projects, if you're like me, and I'm still trying to keep, hold down a house with 4 kids in the midst of this project, please just lift it up to the Lord in prayer today. Take a few minutes after you watch this video to just have some quiet time. He's here, and he wants to hear what you have to say. He wants to know what's on your mind. What do you need from God? Lift that up to him today. What do you need from the Lord?